So we're going to look at a full review of what I suppose would be on the GED Math test. In looking at this, there's a couple of things you need to remember. There are two parts to this test. There is a non-calculator part that is 4 or 5 questions long. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's 5. After you do that part, you have to submit your test, that part of your test. Then you do the second part of the test with a calculator. So once you do those first 5, you submit, and those are locked in, and then you have a calculator for the second half of the test. So these questions we're going to look at today, even though there's 9 questions total, we're going to look at these as examples of questions that would likely be found on the non-calculator part of the GED test. So, as you remember, these no calculator use on these questions. So number 1, order these from least to greatest. So you have 1/2, 1/5, 0.21, 0.7, 1/20, and 6/10. What I would do personally is I would take all of these fractions, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy, and convert them all to decimal form. You have a few minutes to do these in, so some of these are going to eat up a little more time than others, so keep that in mind. So it's easy to think, all right, 0.5, 1/2 is 0.5. 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. So I do 1 divided by 5. If I do 1 divided by 5, remember what a fraction is. First number goes inside the house, second number goes on the outside. 5 goes into 1, it won't, but 5 will go into 10. So if I put my decimal up there and say 5 into 1.0, that'll go 2 times, and 2 times 5 is 10. So that is 0.2. Then this one is 0.21. This one is 0.7, 1/20th, 1 on the outside, 1 on the inside, 20 on the outside. I'll go ahead and put my decimal here. And then say 20 won't go into 1, 20 won't go into 10, but 20 will go into 100 5 times. But that is here above the hundredths place, not above the tenths place. So 0.05. So that one is 0.05. And then this last one is 6 divided by 10. 6 divided by 10. So I'm going to put my decimal, put that there. 10 will go into 66 times. 6 times 10 is 60. That finishes that one off. So that one's 0.6. So from least to greatest, that 1/20th comes first because it's the smallest number. Now, you also have to remember that when we're doing this, that these tenths, they're like 0.5, 0.2, 0.7 are the same as 0.50, 0.20, 0.70. Think of it as change, as dollars and cents. So we're looking at the cents here on this. So the 0.05 or the 1/20th comes first. Then comes the 1/5. Got that one taken care of. Why is it doing this? Got that one taken care of. Then you do the 0.21 because it's next. And then all you have left is 0.5, 0.6, and 0.7. So 0.5 is 1/2. I'm going to write that 1/2 like it is. And then it's 0.6, which is 6/10. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. And then that 0.7. This is typically one where they drag and drop. We have to put them in order from least 3, 4, 5. Is there 6 of those? And you have to drag them down here to where they're supposed to go. So you pick it up, click, hold, and drop. Pick it up, click, hold, and drop wherever it's supposed to go. So that's how your answer should look. 1/20th, 1/5, 0.21, 1/2, 0.6, 0.7. Next question, number 2. Chris's fuel tank was 3/8 full. He stopped at a gas station and added a quarter of a tank. How much fuel is now in his car? So this is a simple addition of fractions problem. So 3/8 plus 1/4. Now, you do not have a calculator, so you have to do this all by hand. Fortunately, it's not that bad because your common denominator is going to be 8 for both of these. Because 8 will go into 8, and 4 will go into 8. 8 will go into 8 one time. 1 times 8 is 8, 3 times 1 is 3. 4 will go into 8 2 times. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. So 3 eighths plus 2 eighths will be 5 eighths. Next question. Let's go red. What is 0.41 subtracted from 5.3? So 5.3 minus 0.41. What this one's really testing is to see if you can remember how to subtract decimals. And one of the key things to remember is A, line up your decimals. B, if it's subtraction, make sure you have to put a number to subtract from. So that one has to be subtracted from something up here. So 1 from 0 you can't do, so you got to borrow from this 3. So that makes that 3 a 2. It makes that now a 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. Now 2 minus 4, nope, not going to work. So I borrow 1 from the 5, make it a 4. And borrow next door, that becomes a 12. 12 minus 4 is 8. And then your 4 comes on down. So 4.89. Number 4, what is 4,503 multiplied by 18? Not that difficult of a problem. If you did not know how to multiply 18, you could have broken it up into 8 and 10. And anything times 10, you just move the decimal one place. And then you do times 8, and then whatever you get as an answer, you add those two together. That's realistically what you do when you multiply anyway. So not that difficult. 8 times 3 is 24. Carry your 2. 0 times 8 is 0. Carry your 2. 5 times 8 is 40. Carry your 4. 4 times 8 is 32, and 4 more is 36. You put your 0. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 4 is 4. And then you add them all up. 4, 2, and 3 is 5. There's your zeros. Carry that 1. That 1 goes up there. 3 and 4 is 7, and 1 more makes 8. So your grand answer is 81,054. Number 5, now we're looking at the rules of power. So the rule here is if they have the same base, you just add the exponents together. So it'll be 4 to the 5th times 4 to the 7th. So really it's 4, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's really what it is. So you could add all of those 4s together, or you can count them all up, whichever way you want to do it. You're still doing the same thing. It'll be 4 to the 12th, which is B. Number 6 says x squared is equal to 19 plus 6. And it asks what is x. X kind of got left off there. So if x squared is 19 plus 6. Don't get fooled with this one though. Oh, I didn't complete this question. X squared is 19, so x squared is 25. So the key thing here is now I get a square root, so that's x, because the square root of x squared is x. Square root of 25 is 5. Now if I said, what is x minus 1? Then that would be 4. That's a good question. And I think that's what the question actually asked here, but I forgot to do it. I'll go back and fix that so that it actually says that. But that's a key thing to think about, is that you're solving for x, not x squared. I know they gave you x squared up there, but they don't want x squared. They just want x. 7. The Badwater Ultra Marathon is a 135-mile course that starts at Badwater Basin in California, which is 279 feet below sea level. The race ends on Mount Whitney at 8,360 feet above sea level. How many feet of elevation must runners ascend during the race? So guess what? This 135 right here is useless. So if this is 0, you start down here at negative 279. And you have to go all the way up to 8,360. So if you can see it like that, to get from here to there is 8360. From 8360 down to 0 is that you got to add 279 more feet to it. So 279, you have to add to it. This is actually an absolute value question. So 9, 6 and 7 is 13, carry your 1. 3 and 1 is 4, 5, 6, and then there's your 8. So 8639, and that's your answer. And number 8, last two. Tina has $10 to spend on tacos and nachos at a food truck. She wants to purchase at least one of each item for the members of her family, and nachos are 59 cents, the tacos are 89 cents. Which expression could she use to find the maximum number of each she can buy? So 10 has to be the most it can be. She doesn't have over $10. So 10 has to be greater than or equal to, because this total on this side of the equation has to be less than 10 or equal to 10. So saying that this side is greater than 10, no. Saying that this side could be greater than 10, yet again, no. It has to be one of these, A or D, that say that 10 is greater than or equal to the total there. So the difference is 89 cents per taco, 59 cents per nacho, or 59 cents per taco, and 89 cents per taco. Nachos are 59, so 0.59 times N. Aha, there. So it's A. And then number 9, last one. We're solving the absolute value of x plus 2. What that really means is we have two problems, because the absolute value means that positive 17 could equal that or negative 17. So really what you have to do is you have to say x plus 2 is 17, or x plus 2 is negative 17. So if x plus 2 is 17, you'll subtract 2, subtract 2. So x is equal to 17 minus 2, which will be 15. Or minus 2 minus 2, so x is negative 19. So negative 19 and positive 15 are your answers. So negative 19 and positive 15, which is D.